We're on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada, in the northern Gulf Islands. My name is Lockie McLean. I'm Director of Ship Operations and Campaigns at Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. I grew up here on Hornby Island in the Strait of Georgia, where in the next few days a massive ecological event is about to take place in the form of the last viable herring spawn in the Pacific Northwest coast. On the island of Hokkaido in Japan, the indigenous Ainu herring fishery was sustainable for over 500 years. In the late 19th century, Japan began using herring as fertilizer to increase the country's agricultural development. After a record year in 1897, the herring fishery in Japan collapsed. 120 years later, the herring have not returned. Coastal First Nations here in British Columbia were able to fish for herring sustainably for over 10,000 years. Canada now exports the herring roe, which are the eggs, to Japan as a delicacy. Last year, the Fisheries Ministry allowed for up to 10,000 tons of herring to be caught here in the Strait of Georgia. The seiners went away with less than 3,500 tons. Why aren't they reaching their quota? The 4 other herring fisheries on this coast have already collapsed. For years leading up to their collapse, DFO stated these fisheries could continue based on sound science. This is the same science that is putting the Strait of Georgia herring at risk right now. The numbers don't add up. Where are the fish? What we're seeing here is a profit before precaution mentality by the Fisheries Ministry. The herring industry lobby dictating the fishery. Herring is a backbone, vital for the survival of orca and salmon on this coast, and they're starving. How can it make any sense for us to be taking wild herring, the primary food source for Chinook salmon, and grinding it up into fish meal for the farmed salmon industry, further depleting wild stocks of herring, salmon, and eventually orca in the wild? I'm here today to ask Prime Minister Trudeau to tell his Fisheries Minister to close down the herring roe fishery on behalf of the 50,000 people who signed the petition urging you to shut this fishery down while there's still time. Why perpetuate an unsustainable industry for a luxury market in Japan, where the last viable herring spawn is hanging by a thread?